So with the skill tree, so we've got health boosts, right? That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Is there anything, I'm trying to think of an example. Like, is it a number-based skill boost, or is like the health bit like what the boosts were on the vehicles, where you've got like 3 health segments, and like the stat boost will give you an extra health segment, or is that number-based? Health
varies. So the health boost will manifest itself as like you'll see your bar grow and change, and it will get longer, and you've got more chunks of health than you used to have. That's typical. Same with like your special power bar, the purple bar that lets you do your super special move. But then some of the other ones, like there's some that are like damage increases, and those are very much kind of a numbers behind the scenes thing, but you'll see the effects of them in the game when you do your attacks and stuff.
So we've got damage increase, health increase, we've got new abilities.
Yeah, we even have the ability to like the cooldowns on the power discs. Some of the skill trees let you cool those down faster. Like that's some of the stuff you can do. So if you really like those.
And is there like a revive feature?
Yes.
In a multiplayer situation?
Yes. So I mean, player death is now altogether more meaningful. If you're in a playset and you get defeated, you've either got to respawn back at an earlier checkpoint, or you have to swap in a different character. But if you're a multiplayer, you can sort of pick the other guy back up.
That's cool. That's cool. I guess that's classic gameplay, isn't it?
Yeah, sure.
Can you tell me anything about the Hall of Heroes?
We have one. How's that?
That's awesome. That's what I expected.
I can do you one better than that. We actually have an entirely different Hall of Heroes for the Marvel characters. So they're actually got their own Hall of Heroes that's brand new.
Can you tell me when you expect to announce anything about the Hall of Heroes?
I honestly don't know. I don't even know what the schedule is for that.
Okay, that's cool. I believe there's a limit to the number of toy boxes that can be linked. 10, correct?
I do not remember exactly what it was, but I know it's a double-digit number. Yeah.
Is there any technical reason why they did that? Why would you limit it?
I think that one was to limit the sheer possible size of the data that you have to be transmitting around, right? I mean, if I'm going to be uploading and downloading these from servers all the time, either because we can now share with our friends or through the Disney featured stuff, I mean, at some point we wanted to ensure there was some sort of containment for that.
Just thinking of this now, so could you carry over stats between toy boxes if you built some form of, I don't know, character system, I don't know.
I see what you're saying.
What I mean? I believe, isn't there an inventory system or something attached to the RPG mechanic or something? Vaguely remember something like that?
So,
let's use that as an example anyway. Let's say you could have an inventory. Could you build an inventory and then carry that inventory over to a linked toy box through the door?
I don't believe that works.
Okay.
I don't know for certain. I would have to ask some of our toy box designers specifically about that, because I've never asked that question. But I mean, when you go from one toy box to another, it unloads one and loads the other one. So I don't think we have like any persistent data like that.
So we'd have to come up with some creative uses to carry over. But you could still, because technically, although, okay, this is a good question. So let's say you built a toy box that has 3 different levels, so to speak. Technically, is anything stopping you from playing the second toy box of your 3, if you know what I mean? Can you force people to start in a particular toy box and then effectively hide the other 2?
Yes, you can. That you can definitely do.
So I'm sure there's a workaround there.
Yeah, it may be a little bit, maybe a little involved, but I think something like that you should be able to do.
Okay, well could you go into a bit more detail about RPG stuff?
Sure, yeah, absolutely. So we've got way more toys now that let you kind of bring these rules into play, where before, like I said, you had kind of these gentlemen's agreements, right? Where we're gonna play this game that I built, and we're gonna just agree right now that you're not gonna pull out the magic wand and delete all the stuff you don't like, right? And now we have toys that can force you to have a specific camera, that can force you to have specific tools and packs available, that can force you to have no editor available or only special things in the editor we want to have. So you can control all of this, and now we also have much better NPC interaction, whereas before the townspeople would walk around and add a little flavor to the world, but now we can make them do about a dozen different behaviors and actions, and we can also use our text toys to make them speak. So you can now have narrative in your worlds, you can have characters saying things in your worlds, and all this kind of lends itself more to kind of that RPG style gameplay.
So how would give us an example of how would a cutscene work in a toy box? How would you set that up?
So imagine this, for example. I mean, we showed you some of the townspeople behaviors.
Yep.
So we could have an initial camera set up. It could be we can point it at a specific location or a specific character, and then at the same time we can say we want that character to play this behavior. We want them to faint, or we want them to flee, or we want them to say something, right? And we can position that camera close or far away, or we can have one camera far away and one camera close. And now that we can control the transitions between them, we can say, oh, just swing between these, and it will look like you've zoomed in on that character, and then they can do their thing, right? Then you can cut to the next thing, and we have the ability to give characters marching orders to go from place to place. So you could make them walk into scene and out of scene and all of this stuff, all using the camera tools.
And to clarify, you can't bring in any other characters and animate them like you can the villagers.
Oh, like I can't like animate Merida. I can't force her to. No, I mean that's a player. Players remain in control of themselves.
All right,
for
so
the most
technically, so really your cutscenes are limited to villagers included. Well, you know what I mean, though. Like,
well, okay.
You can have a replayer. You can have a replayer like something, build something as a cutscene.
Yeah, sure.
As far as actual characters, you're limited to the villagers.
I mean, to be really clear, I can still tell the cameras to just focus on Merida wherever she is. I can say, oh yeah, she's attached to Merida. We're going to watch Merida do this thing. I just can't force Merida to play an animation. I can still afflict her with stuff. I mean, we have the action enforcer toy that will allow me to say, oh, well, I'm gonna put a freeze effect on her and she'll be frozen for a short time. I mean, I can do things like that
so
with
you
the cameras.
Can create a cutscene that effectively with yourself, so to speak.
Sure.
And attach the dialogue trees to that character. That's better than nothing. That's pretty good. Okay, here's a tough one for you. I don't know what trailer it was. One of the trailers just released, we saw that the rails had different styles.
Yes.
Does that have any effect outside of the fact that they're just different style rails? Although we noticed that they were like obviously joined together all the different. It was like an Aladdin type one with clothes hanging off it, and
they are cosmetic, much like the customizations for the terrain and everything are essentially cosmetic. So are the rails. It's just another way to kind of get your toy box to look and feel exactly the way you want.
Yeah, that's cool. What was the other one that was called? Oh yeah, the paint gun that we saw at the end of the Stitch trailer, I believe it was. The one that was your painting bits. Painting it was just like a paint gun, and they were like shooting at stuff, and it was turning at different colours.
We do have a special toy in the toy box that is a color changing block.
Yes.
And you can define its colors, and the colors can change based on actions in the world as well. So you could have like animated pixel art using the color changing block, right? You could set up a huge grid and have it be whatever you like, a logo or something. But then based on events, those blocks can change color, and you can have it be essentially animated. You could have it switch. So it's actually a really cool toy.
We talked a little bit, we'll touch it again, just with the speech bubbles that we can set up dialogue tree, so to speak, and go from, there was 5 different levels of tree per text toy.
And you could have 100 of them, I mean, you could have lots and lots of dialogue if that's important to you.
Is it possible to do like branching dialogue trees potentially, so that you could actually have a script, so to speak, that depending if the player says yes or cancel alters what the text says?
Yeah, we have a toy that gives us this freedom. It's called the dual action trigger. It was in the first game. It's in this game as well, but it basically is a logical and. So it looks for 2 things to be true, and if they're true, then it does some action.
Yeah.
So I could see some way where you could set up, oh yeah, if the player has selected this thing and they're talking to this guy or something like that. I'm not sure exactly how we would set this up, but it seems intuitively possible to use this conditional trigger to kind of guide us down a specific path.
That's really cool. Can't create your own templates?
I do not believe we have the ability to create your own templates.
Let's make that happen. It would be really cool to be able to, I've discussed it many times before, to be able to build huge 8-bit representation and share that with the community. save on work. But okay, but so the templates, and there seem to be a lot of templates, obviously.
There are a whole bunch of them, and bear in mind, of course, that when it comes to just building something like that and sharing it with the community, now that you can share any of your creations just with your Disney ID friends, like those don't need necessarily to go through Disney to be shared. You do have the ability to set up an ID and say, okay, just be friends with this ID, and I'm going to build this thing, and it's all yours. And I mean, you effectively can do what the templates are doing just by creating a specific toy box for them.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a good point. Yeah, so you could build that, you could set that up, make it available for. Yeah, that's cool.
And you could use like the challenge creator to force people to play it the way you want to play it and everything.
Yeah, that's cool. So I don't think it's officially been announced, as sort of know though, so you can publicly share toy boxes.
Yeah, you can. I mean, not strictly publicly. They do have to be your friends through Disney ID. So they must be on your friends list. You cannot simply make...
Is that separate to like a PlayStation friends list?
Yes.
So it's just completely separate, you've got to make friends on Disney.
But the reason it's totally awesome is that this is cross-platform.
Yeah.
So we can be Disney ID friends even though you're on your PlayStation 4 and I'm on my PlayStation 3.
Yeah.
And then I can build something on my PlayStation 3 and you can download on the PlayStation 4 and play it, which is pretty awesome.
Okay, so I wanted to say that, okay, so you've got to be friends.
Mm-hmm.
But I assume Disney is still going to make some toy boxes more widely available.
We will continue to do what we've done before.
Do the top 5?
Yeah.
Do you know if it's going to be, we discussed this last podcast, whether that's going to be platform specific or if like, if you know what I mean? Like, because if you do a top 5 and all 5 are next gen toy boxes.
Yeah.
Obviously everyone on 360 is not going to be able to play them. So do you reckon it's going to be...
I'm not sure specifically exactly how they want to expand that. I know it's something that we do want to do more with than we've done before. Something like that probably would make sense. I don't know specifically what we're going to do, but we will continue to submit toy boxes, we'll review them, we'll make them publicly available. That will continue to happen in one form or another.
And there's going to be a tag system, I believe. In the pub, like a little bit easier to narrow the...
That's right. Right. We've got more than just the list now. Like we've got...
We're getting all of 1.0's winning toy boxes, and then technically there'll be who knows how many in the next year.
All the other stuff is going to be available, and then like the user interface is changing, it's improved, it's now searchable and filterable and things like that. Yeah,
that's really cool. Are there any, because I don't know whether it's themed a creativity toy, are there any creative toys that have been left out of 2.0? We know that the shrink and the grow will left out. Is there any other major additions?
I don't think so. And even the shrink and grow, we still have a new toy that lets you put the monster truck tires on the vehicles, which is among the more popular uses of the grow. So we still have that functionality. Otherwise, I'm trying to think, is there anything else that we let die? And we did not eliminate much from Infinity 1. That's really the only standout example I have is the great.
Can you explain the icons on the progress bar over there?
Yeah. So one of the ways that the toy boxes are allowed to be so much larger than before, even on the older platforms, is that the game is now paying attention individually to the effects of certain toys on your resources, right? So whereas before it was like you have kind of this big bucket and everything kind of bumps up this bucket, and once it's full we don't want you to build anymore because things could go wrong. Now it's like, well, we have a certain amount of technical resource for animation and a certain amount for sound and a certain amount for all this stuff, and so you're pushing it in different ways, and now you can see what you're pushing.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Again, this is probably an answer due to the sharing stuff we talked about. Are you going to be able to see how many times a toy box has been downloaded?
I don't know.
Are they going to share the information? Like, that'd be cool as a toy box artist to know how much of an impact and how many people have actually played your creation.
I will need to verify, but
again,
I believe...
I can imagine it's probably not the case if it's going to be this select few each week that get highlighted, so to speak.
I don't know exactly what we're using to filter or sort the toy boxes. I know that we can. I don't know if that's one of the dimensions or not.
Yeah. Are there any theme park mechanics in this game? One we were really pushing for last one was like track system or something like that for to recreate like dark rides and stuff like that? Is there any like?
Oh, interesting.
I'm assuming there's no water mechanics in 2.0.
No, there are not really. I mean, we have water textures that you can customize things with, make them look like water. In terms of
no like roller coaster type.
Well, we've got rail slides, of course, and we have conveyor belts and things that you can use in the platforming, amongst the platforming toys.
Like the recently shown Alice in Wonderland bit would be sweet to be able to sit that on like a.
To be able to lock a vehicle in.
You know what I mean?
Well, you could probably get really creative with some of our collision volumes. And sort of basically confine something to a path and propel it along the path. We also have some toys that are called the weather vane. And the weather vane lets you put a force in a direction. So you basically can be blowing something or pushing something in a given direction. So, I mean, it would require some ingenuity. You could probably cobble something together.
You could do a cool rig where you could use the camera system and be like on a rail system on one of the conveyor belts, go through a trigger and then trigger like a cutscene style to simulate the effect of a dark ride. That's pretty cool.
That I think you could do. Again, I mean, it would take a little work, but
all right, better make this the last one. The interiors.
Yes.
A little confused about the interiors in that initially it sounded like to me that you had your own personal interior. Does that mean you've only got your personal interior, or could you create multitude of interiors that are just like separate toy boxes, or is there just the one personal interior that you've got that you can gain access to?
Both. You've got both of these things. So we have a specific interior called My Interior, what it's called, and it is unique to you. And like if and you can only see your interior when you're playing with your profile. So I can invite my friends to play personally with me and come into my interior and see my interior, but. And then they have their own My Interior, but that's not really shareable any other way. But then you also have interior toy boxes, just like you have the exterior toy boxes, and you can link those together with doors, and you can make as many of those as you like. Right? Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Well, you know, in the interiors, I mean, you have the decorations and the awards and things you can display, but we also have the creativity toys available in the interiors, so you can still set up gameplay and challenges and whatever.
Are there creativity toys that are specific to the interiors?
I don't think so. I don't think we have. Well,
but there's all different assets. There's a completely new asset tree, so to speak.
You've got well, so in the interiors, many of the decoration items do function as creativity toys. So like I can set up. Okay, I have this secret door. And if one of these townspeople sits on this couch, sitting on the couch is that's an action you can leverage, right? So there are a lot of kind of new types of logic to set up in there, but we didn't make any like gameplay specific creativity toys just for the interiors.
Well, that's really cool. Thank you so much for your time.
No, thank you.
Completely out of time, and. Well, I hope you enjoy it. When are you going home?
Well, not for a while. I'm leaving Australia on Sunday, but headed to Germany for Gamescom for a little while.
And I'm sure there'll be more announcements at Gamescom.
That you're going to want to stay tuned to Gamescom. That may happen. We will see.